Some founders build companies. Tim Rexius builds momentum. He started in nutrition and fitness, then kept following a simple but deceptively hard question. What do people actually want, and why are so many healthy products missing the point? That question led him from Rexius Nutrition and Iron Heaven gyms into something that sounds almost absurd until you see the scale of it. Protein popcorn, not as a gimmick, but as a real product born from trying to create a better snack for his family, then refining it through hundreds of tests until it finally clicked. Today, Omaha Protein Popcorn, founded by Tim and Brittany Rexius in 2018, is sold internationally and positioned around a very unusual promise in the snack world: high protein without sacrificing taste. What makes Tim interesting as a founder is not just the product, it's the pattern he's built across nutrition, supplements, gyms, consulting, and media, while also speaking openly about entrepreneurship, family, and the personal grit behind growth. He's the CEO of Omaha Protein Popcorn and Rexius Nutrition, co-owner of Iron Heaven Gyms, and founder of VHI Sups, with a mission that feels bigger than business alone: helping people bet on themselves before the world gives them permission. And before we start the episode, a quick word from our sponsor, Deep Wealth and the Deep Wealth Mastery Program. Here's Bill, a graduate, who says the Deep Wealth Mastery Program has transformed the KPIs we're using to accelerate growth and profits. Or how about Emery, who says, and I love this, and I quote, the Deep Wealth Mastery Program helped me create the right mindset for both growing my business and later my future exit. I now know what questions to ask, what to do and not to do, which is priceless. The team and I have found dangerous skeletons and gaps that we're now addressing due to the Deep Wealth Program. Today, our actions have a massive ROI. Absolutely love that. And now, speaking of growth and adding value, check out what Bruce says. And I quote, as a business owner, I'm always looking for new programs, systems, CEO peer groups, and strategies to improve my business. Hands down, the Deep Wealth Mastery Program is the absolute best. I'm both growing my business and preparing for a future exit at the same time. It doesn't get any better. And I got to tell you, as I hear these testimonials, this is exactly why I do what I do. My mission, the team's mission here at Deep Wealth, is to literally change the social fabric of society, one business owner at a time and one liquidity event at a time. The Deep Wealth Mastery Program is the only one based on a 9-figure deal. And that deal, that was my deal. You know my story. I said no to a 7-figure offer. I created a system that we now call Deep Wealth Mastery, and that's exactly what helped myself and my business partners welcome from a different buyer, a different offer, a 9-figure deal. So if you're interested in growing your profits, preparing for a future liquidity event, whether that's 3 years away or 33 years away, and if you want to optimize your post-exit life, Deep Wealth Mastery is for you. Please email success@deepwealth.com. Again, that's success, SUCCESS, at deepwealth.com. We'll send you all the information about the Deep Wealth Mastery Program, otherwise known as the Scale for Ultimate Sales System. Better yet, why not hop on a complimentary strategy call? We'll see where you are at your business and what's standing between you and your financial independence and your dreams. So that's where you want to be. You want to be with other successful business owners, entrepreneurs, and founders just like you who are looking to create market disruptions. Whether you're a startup, whether you've been in business for 3 or 4 decades, whether you're manufacturing, whether you're high-tech, SaaS, low-tech, whatever the case may be, come on in and network with other business owners, with other businesses just like you, because they all want to lock in their financial freedom and enjoy both success and fulfillment. Again, the 90-day Deep Wealth Mastery Program, it has your name on it. All you need to do is take the next step. Please send an email to success@deepwealth.com. Deep Wealth Nation, welcome to another episode of the Deep Wealth Podcast. Deep Wealth Nation, very excited. You heard the official introduction. We have a fellow founder, visionary, incredible entrepreneur who is making a change out there in something that's near and dear to all of us here at Deep Wealth. It's all about your health. And so Deep Wealth Nation, how are you with your health? What's going on there? We're going to throw some inspiration in there of what you can do for your health, but also with your business with some incredible insights. I have a fellow bootstrapper here, which is incredible. But Tim, I'm going to put a pause in it right there. I got the real deal, otherwise known as you. Welcome to the Deep Wealth Podcast. There's always a story behind the story. So what's your story? What got you from where you were to where you are today?
First, thanks for having me. I'm definitely honored to be here. Honestly, I grew up in Northeast Nebraska, And if any of your listeners have never been to Nebraska, just imagine flat and a lot of corn, and that's Nebraska. Great place to raise a family and a great place to grow up. I got into sports at a young age. I loved it, probably because I was a chubby kid. And then I grew 8 inches in a year and didn't gain a pound. And I was like, okay, I went from 5'6" to 6'3", and got into sports and just felt like that was the place where I could feel powerful. I think for a lot of people, that's what it is. Didn't want to hide behind the shadows. I wanted to be out in front. And so I got, but the problem is that when you're training and you're trying to gain muscle and all that stuff, and nutrition was really becoming a big thing in the 90s, nutrition stores, my good old Nebraska Cornhuskers, we used to be good back in the 90s. They were the first team to ever launch using creatine as a supplement, actually in 1993. We actually have the Nebraska Cornhuskers to thank for the big boost in creatine and protein usage because they were the first team to ever really use it. So I got into it. And the thing is, when you're a broke kid, creatine was expensive back in the day. I need to get a job at GNC. It's the only store around. And so I went in there every day for 2 weeks until he finally got annoyed and gave me a job. Started working at nutrition, ended up going to college close to there, played college football and college track. And I was getting my employee discount. And then this is where I found the love for sales. I mean, I had gone from history major to pre-med to pre-law. I just wanted to make money because I was sick of being poor. And at the same time, what had happened was I had made some mistakes in my personal life. I'd drinking underage and doing some dumb stuff, which when I had to get a lawyer and nobody got hurt, not one of those things, just got doing some dumb stuff. And I had enough money to either pay my rent and pay my lawyer or pay my lawyer and start a business on top of working at GNC. And so I decided that I'm going to bet on me. So I did not pay my rent, ended up sleeping in my Oldsmobile, which ended up lasting quite a few months longer than I intended. Put all my money into a lawnmower. I started Poor College Kids Lawn Service, which I thought was a really great name. I might get some sympathy business. And started mowing lawns and working at GNC. But then the fall hit and started football and couldn't mow lawns anymore. And my boss at GNC, I mean, in all of his brilliance, he had a little competition. How many gold cards can you sell? And at this point, like, I'm poor. I am so broke. I have no money. I have no money to go get money from. And I'm still trying to do school and I'm still trying to play sports. But back then you couldn't make money. There was no NIL deals. It was figure it out. You can only donate blood and plasma so many times, which I was a frequent flyer in that route. And my boss is like, hey, we're having a gold card contest. Every gold card you sell, it gets $2, which $2 was never a lot. But then back in the day, it got you 2 gallons of gas. So it actually was pretty good. And I said, what's the record? He's like, why? I go, that's how I operate. He goes, 50. Well, I did 302. So I got a $604 extra paycheck back in the day, guys. Like that was rent, that was fuel, that was insurance, that was food, that was beer money, whatever it might be for a college kid. That was great. I'm like, you need to do this again. So he started turning everything in the store into commissionable items. And within a year, pretty much managing the joint while finishing out school. I'm like, man, I love this. And it wasn't so much just the commission. It was the fact that I was getting paid money to help people look and feel their absolute best. And the power in that, it was an addictive, like a drug that they haven't even invented yet. I just watching people overcome a breakup or something like that. And just, you see that a lot. I've seen that now in 27 years of doing this. I've seen people use the gym and use fitness and health to overcome death, financial reversals, divorce or breakups or whatever it might be, addiction. And it was just such a great thing. And so when I got my shot at the NFL, that lasted a few weeks. It shattered my shoulder in about 25 pieces, and there goes the dreams. I wanted to start a nutrition store, but from my experience, at least at business college, I learned a lot of terms. I learned a lot of great things, but I did not learn anything about alternative financing. I didn't learn about any of that stuff. If you didn't have a rich family to co-sign a loan, you just couldn't start a business. And that it was a sad fact that after 4.5 years of paying for college, I had no clue actually how to start a business. And so here I am selling supplements and not sure what I'm going to do, getting married. I got a baby on the way. And what am I going to do? I don't want to go finance because that sounds boring, and I just didn't have a lot of experience in anything else. Well, in walks a lady who buys a big weight loss kit. That was the big thing back in the early 2000s, late 90s. And her husband came in an hour later to yell at me for selling her the weight loss kit. I was just young enough and dumb enough and cocky enough to do some schmoozy salesman. I was like, hey, man, your old lady's going to she's going to look hot in a month. You better get some creatine, some protein. You better get bulked up. And this guy's 70 years old, mind you. So he ended up buying creatine from me, comes back the next day. He goes, how did this happen? I said, I'm really good. And I just laughed. He goes, you don't work here anymore. You work for me. And it turns out my uncle, twice removed through my stepdad, and my cousin worked for this company, and I ended up being the youngest employee they'd ever hired. And they go, we're only going to give you $500 a week. And after that, it's commission. And all I heard was $500 a week. I was like, I'm sold. We're going to move you to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Where the hell is that? Okay, I'm going there. First year was 148 inches of snow. So it was a rough awakening. But I said, what's the rookie record? Because that's just me. I want to make a name. They said it's like 130,000 in sales. Okay, cool. Well, I did $300,000 in sales. And I moved up the ladder very quickly and very good national training. And then I ended up being back and forth in Washington. I was dealing with the government on pandemic outbreaks and then getting my degree in chemistry, dealing with West Nile virus at the time. And remembers what a big deal that was. And I realized that I am making more money than I ever thought was possible. And I am more miserable than I think I've ever been. They didn't really teach wealth management. So what did I do? I bought a new car every year for 5 years. Bought the new house, did the whole thing. Marriage wasn't great. So I'm just going to buy more stuff. Next thing you know, I went from being in the NFL to being 330 pounds at 33% body fat. I had 6 ulcers burst at 28, trying to be the interim vice president of marketing for a Fortune 100 company. And I'm miserable, brother. But I'm like, but you know how people is? I call debt the new indentured servitude. Because now you get the house, got to make the payment. You got to get the cars, got to make the payment. So you won't make these moves that crazy entrepreneurs were born to do. And then this little thing called the 0809 housing crash happened. Guess what I had all my money in? So now I'm miserable and broke, not miserable and rich. And so it was kind of a gut check time. I was just young enough and dumb enough. I had 2 kids and another one on the way to go for broke. And realized that there's not enough money in the world to make me work with politicians ever again. And moved back to Omaha, Nebraska, and I started my first Rexius nutrition store in 2010, paying myself $15 an hour, delivering pizza at night when the store closed, refinishing little old ladies' wood floors on the weekends and the mornings, and just like, I'm going to guerrilla this thing. I have no money. But what I do have more than anything is an innate ability to make people like me and bring up conversation. So I went to 3 different gyms every single day for 3 years. And I met, if you worked out anywhere in Omaha between 2010 and 2013, you knew me. And I got in really good shape too, which was great. I went from 330 down to about 270, and I started competing in bodybuilding shows. I just total body transformation. And I decided to name the store after myself because, it was, we had spoken before the podcast. I believe the nutrition and wellness industry has become over corporatized. And it's just these big conglomerates. And so I wanted to put my name on the door. Where I grew up, my dad, my old man, still buys his cars from the same car dealership for 50 years. Why? Because he knows old man Morrissey's going to give him a deal. Because that's his word, that's his bond. I'm like, we should bring that back into health and wellness. People should know who they're buying from. And so that's why I put my name on the door. I'm like, I'm here to help you. I remember my first couple months, it was terribly slow. And a lady walked in and she was 320 pounds. She had Crohn's really bad. And we started talking about dandelion root and chromium picolinate, things to balance blood sugar and detoxification. Gave her a few tricks to lower the pressure in the lower abdominal blood vessels. $20 sale. Nothing crazy. I'm not even paying the light bill with that one. She comes back in 2 years later, 150 pounds, crying. And this lady single-handedly probably sent me $500,000 in business the last 15 years. But that addiction to helping people have success is really what turns the wheels for me. And I just loved it. And we decided to old school principles. I'm already broke. Let's not spend the money. I already did that once. I'm not dumb enough to do it twice. So let's open a second store and a third store. And that's kind of what we did and started our first franchise about 2012, 2013. And all while going through a divorce, which sucked. The next part's probably the most powerful part, to be honest with you. It's around 2014. I ended up sponsoring bodybuilders. And my first female sponsored athlete, Brittany, came in the door, and she's now my wife. But within 1 year of meeting her, we went from 1 state to 5 states of operation in 12 months. We scale massively. And more or less, as somebody else says, you're not completely insane. Yes, you're a little crazy, but you're not completely insane. You can do this. And when somebody believes you knew that much, you're like, maybe I can do this. And it did. We scaled. And she came from a small business family. She's got an accounting background, which is great because I failed accounting 3 times in college. And then it was just awesome to do. And we blended a family, her girls and my daughter and my 2 sons. And then we ended up having one of our own. So we have 6 kids, which is why I'm gray. I'm really not that old. They've aged me. But fast forward to 2017, and I'm competing in bodybuilding shows. at 37, 38 years old. I'm winning them. I won the LA Open against all the 20-year-olds back in 2017. And what people don't know is 2 weeks before that show, I got kicked out of the local health club chain that's big in the Midwest. Said I was intimidating other guests, which is totally not true because I talk more than I lift. I'm a salesman. But the girl, she was very sweet. She goes, they want to sell supplements. You're the king of supplements. So we had to find a reason to kick you out. But don't worry, I'll still shop at your store. I said, okay. Well, I win the show in LA. And the day after the show, we went to a friend of mine's gym in East Los Angeles that was just a different kind of vibe. And my now business partner was an employee at the time, was with me. And on the flight home, between my wife, who's always wanted to open a gym, and him just chirping in my ear on each side. They had 7 cocktail napkins later. We got a name, we got a business plan, and I signed a lease on a 7,000 square foot bay the next day. And here we are 9 years later. We have 3 massive facilities. We have more members coming in the door than I even thought would ever be down for a gym like this. But my wife wanted a gym where women didn't get judged, where they didn't feel like they had to wear makeup and get dolled up to go to the gym, where they didn't get, looked down upon because they want to lift heavy and be powerful. And it's a place for our daughters can come train. And I wanted a spot where if you dropped heavy weight, that means you were doing something cool and we should applaud it, not throw up the lunk alarm. We have a Volkswagen, quite literally in the middle of our gym, logoed. And if you can deadlift the Volkswagen, you can autograph it. So my rule is if you're going to do something stupid with weights, we want you to do it here. But it's been fun.
Absolutely love that story. So much there to unpack. But Tim, firstly, thank you so much for being open and vulnerable and putting everything out there. I don't think you left anything out that was going on with you. I want to go back to the beginning, though, because I've seen a theme as you've been sharing the story with me. And again, so grateful and appreciative that you're doing that. Go back to the beginning. You're poor. You've got nothing. You're living in your car. And if we're honest about that, especially today, it saddens me to say this as I look at the moral compass of society today, of where we're heading. No judgments, just observations here. It would have been very easy for you to play the victim card and say, woe is me. Look at this. I don't have anything. And that becomes your calling card. But instead, you put everything on the line. Even, hey, not only am I not going to pay rent, I'm not going to rip off the landlord. I'm just going to be in my car. So kudos to you. A lot of people would have just not paid rent and continue living. So there's integrity here. There is a lot going on. What gave you that self-confidence to say, hey, I don't know if I'm going to make it, but you know what? I'm going for it. And not only am I going to go for it, let me see if I can become the absolute best, the top of the top. I'm going to break the record. That's going to be me. I'm going to be the poster child of success in whatever I happen to be doing here. Where did that come from?
Honestly, it's a mixture of different emotions and things I think that happened to me as a kid and into adulthood. Nothing against my biological dad, but they had a terrible divorce and I didn't see him for many years. And how many times as a kid, you sat in the window waiting for him to show up and he didn't. And I don't blame him at all. We have a relationship now, but my older brother was like, I think junior high was like, we're going to make a name for ourselves because we don't want to be forgotten. And that's what it was. It was like, I just felt like I didn't want to be forgotten, whatever that might mean, whatever that might be. At the time, I didn't understand it when I was 15, but I understood it now, is that I wanted my name to be known. I wanted legacy. I wanted respect. And my stepdad, great man, taught me a great work ethic. I named my first son after him for a reason. I grew up on the farm, so that told me one thing I did not want to do. I mean, I like farm work, don't get me wrong, but not for a living. But I got a great work ethic from it. And I had a great set of grandparents that were very successful and very hard workers. And I always imagined that my grandpa Ben and my grandpa Dave, who I respected tremendously, if I went to them and said, hey, I'm homeless and things aren't working out, they go, have you tried everything? I already know what they're going to say. It's in my head. Still, into this day, they're both passed and gone to be with the Lord already. But in my mind, I'm like, what would grandpa say? Either one of them. They would say, have you tried everything? And I knew I honestly couldn't say that. I hadn't tried everything. Sure. I mean, I started hustling things off of the want ads at the time, and there's a hustle out there to be had. And I certainly, people get that. When you get really hungry, and man, hungry, like at one point we were heating up water and putting in ketchup packets that we had taken from Runza and McDonald's so we can make tomato soup because I'm starving. And then, there's a thing that'll pop in your head, like I could probably steal something and get away with it. That's a tough moral roadblock because when you're really hungry, that morality line is very blurry. And for me, thank God I was raised with a good family full of faith. But in my mind, I was like, I can't go to grandpa yet and tell him I haven't tried everything because I haven't. And I know that. And I think the ability to fully, truthfully audit myself is a superpower that everyone needs to learn how to do. Be a truthful about your audit. Have you tried everything? Where is your skill set at? Where is it not at? What do you suck at? What are you great at? And if you can really be honest with yourself, and I think a lot of people know what it is, but it's pretty easy for us to blame our situations and people around us for our failures. I think I'm very good at blaming myself. Probably too much, but I'll take the responsibility and heat on me. And this does impact me 25 years after that, where I'm at now, because when an employee fails, I take the blame. Have I put them in a position to be successful? Did I give them enough leaderships? Did we set clear expectations and goals? And somewhere I'll find a fault in me. Now, thank God my wife is, no, you did everything. But to me, it's like, I think everyone has the capability and potential to be massively successful in their own field. And if I have an employee who hasn't been, I always got to ask myself, have I still done everything that I could have to make them successful? And at some points, it's my own fault on that one, because some people have been employed here way longer than they probably should have been, but it still sticks with me. And I think that's really what it is. It's an innate ability to question myself on whether or not have I given it 110%, because the greatest athletes didn't stop practicing. They kept going.
What powerful words, only four of them in a question, is deceptively simple. Have you tried everything? So Deep Health Nation, you're up against the wall. Things aren't working and you're thinking about calling it a day. We're just going to quit or go in a different direction, or we're simply going to fail. Ask the question, have you tried everything? Have I tried everything? What a powerful question. What a legacy to leave you with on that. Let me circle back to something that you said. In Deep Health Nation, with what I'm going to speak about next, this may not be you. It may not even resonate with you. You may not believe in it. I'm asking you to keep an open mind. Some people call it the universe. Some people call it spirituality, the creator. I call it God. Sounds like you call it God. I'm a man of God. You're a man of God. So how does spirituality back in the day through to this day, how has that played a role for you? How's that made a difference?
It's made all the difference. I'm a Christian, and for me, none of us are worthy of grace, but we get it anyways. And that's still hard for me to wrap my mind around. I was pissed at God for a long time on lots of different things. Like, why is this so hard? Why is it this and why is it that? And I think as I became a parent, that changed a lot for me. It changed my perspective as a business owner and as a person, because it's like, okay, I've got this other human being that I'm responsible for. And I took being a father as the greatest job I've ever had. And the fact that they have filthy language, that's also my fault. I'm well aware I am not perfect, but it changed for me. Growing up, grew up in a very strict household when it came to faith. And then as soon as I got on my own, I fell away from it, honestly. And I looked for a lot of answers in the bottom of a bottle of alcohol. I found in all sorts of different aspects and addictions, and the answers were never there. It just left to more loneliness for me. There wasn't a title to be won, an award to be won that filled that hole that I couldn't experience. And when I became a parent, I was like, okay, well, I want my kids to have faith. I want them to have moral basis. You know, I'm a good person, but is that enough? And I don't know. I've just had so many hard things happen in life that have made me search for faith and find a bigger calling beyond myself. And now to this day, it's a driving force for me beyond words that I can possibly describe. Give you an idea. My family, we have family meetings. We do these about once a quarter. Everybody's like, how do you deal with 6 kids, like spanning 20 years? I'm a grandpa now as of a year ago, and he's the best. Oh, yeah, it's the greatest thing ever. I'm not mature enough to be a parent, much less a grandparent, but this is what he gets. But we have meetings, and this is a mistake I made in the first 10 years of my career in entrepreneurship, was not involving the family. But now they are involved in every aspect of everything I do. They see everywhere I'm going. I've been in 5 countries this year already, and they get to see where I'm at, and sometimes I get to take them with me, sometimes I don't. I needed them to understand why I push and what we do and why we're doing it. It's not just for money. Yeah, money's a thing, and we're going to have a lot of it, and here's what we're going to do with it. And so I told my kids from the get-go now, and their significant others, boyfriends, girlfriends, they all come for dinner. My wife cooks, and we say, hey, here's what I'm doing. Here's the insanity that is my life. Here's why I'm doing it. And here's our goals. And so the whole family buys in. And I say that all to bring back to the faith is that my wife and I read a story about 8-9 years ago of a church in Florida that had, and everybody's been to these new age Christian churches. They all have a building fund because they're all trying to raise money for a building. And they'd raised a couple $1,000,000 to buy a building. And then the church prayed about it and decided that they wanted to impact their community more than just buying a building. So they went to the local hospital. found the 100 most outdated unpaid medical bills. They paid them all off and then walked to everyone's door and said, God loves you, and here's a copy of your paid invoice. And that, to like right now, to tell you, brother, like that makes the hair in the back of my neck stand up. And I told my wife, I mean, I go, that's what I want to do. That's it. I'm not taking it with me. None of us are taking it with us. Have we impacted our community to that level? It takes wealth to do that, and business owners can create wealth tremendously faster than most any other group or pretty much every group on the planet, because the government's not going to fix our problems for us. So we need to be the change in the community that we want to be. And the best way I can do that is to build these businesses up and build my wealth up to a point that we can go impact people's lives in an instant, with a snap of a finger like that. And that drives me. So my kids have now bought into that. And it's part of my faith. I believe that's what God's blessed me with, some great abilities and innate opportunities to get in a position that I can impact my community on that kind of level. Because we've all been broke, right? And I've seen people make the wrong choices. Thank God I took the right paths, but I've seen most people take the wrong ones. They blame their spouse, they get into more addictions, whatever it might be. And if we can be a guiding light in that miracle they're looking for, wow, what an awesome opportunity to do so. So these businesses are a blessing. They're a gift. I'm a steward of those businesses. And so much that my 7-year-old and my 13-year-old, they buy into this. Like, when are we doing this? I go, we're not there yet. We're a ways off, but we're going to do this as a family, and we're going to buy into this. And this is what we're going to do. And that's how the faith has kind of led me over the last 30 years, especially. And it's the center of my life and why we do what we do. And for us making business decisions, I mean, some people might call me nuts or foolish, but we pray about it. Me and my business partners, we're going to go into some like, what do you think? Or where do you think we're being led here? Is it just for our own vanity? Is this the right move? Is it just for money? What are we doing here? By being able to sit back and realize that we are responsible for everything that we do. And that's how I feel. I have to answer to somebody. And am I making the decisions for the glory of God? Am I doing it just for my own vanity purposes? And it's a real gut check time and ego. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. And so Deep Health Nation, as we're talking about this, is this resonating with you? Because Tim, a few things are jumping off the page, loud and clear jumping off the page. And firstly, how you're involving the family. How many times as founders, we have the best of intentions, we put the family off to the side, they have no idea what's going on. It's a black box, and they end up resenting us, hating us, not loving us, because they don't understand. It's not what we say, it's what we do, or sometimes what we don't do. And so at the dinner table, or as a family unit, or having that family meeting, the entire family is now involved. Okay, yeah, that's why dad is doing this. Okay, I get it. And now that becomes part of their DNA and part of their culture and how they view the world. So I love that part of it. And then at the same time, Deep Health Nation, it can't just be about the money, because I've been on both sides of the equation, without the money and with the money. And I got to tell you, I still had that emptiness inside of me, even when I had all the zeros in the bank account. So Deep Health Nation, what is it that's driving you besides the money? And if there's not an answer for you, if you're not sure, maybe it's time to take a step back and think about, where does, again, the universe, the quantum field, the creator, for me and Tim, it's God. Where does God fit into your life? And what does that look like for you? And perhaps there's something missing that can make all the difference for you. And so all of that said, and speaking of something missing, Tim, let's talk about where things are today, because you're doing some incredible things at Rexius. And when I look at us as a society, in America, we spend more than anybody else on quote unquote healthcare. It's really sick care, but we spend so much on healthcare. We have really nothing to show for it. We're one of the sickest in the world. And when I look at, to your point, the supplement industry, the quote unquote health industry, wow, it truly is buyer beware. So very big picture wise, what do you want Deep Health Nation to know the next time they go to their favorites? I'm not even going to name names. They're going to their favorite box store. They've got this supplement on sale. It's really cheap. And yeah, I heard about this. The latest influencers talking about this. I'm going to go get me some and get a huge box or crate or a bottle of it. What should they know? Because it's not all the same.
It's not. It's when we created the Omaha Protein Popcorn Company, which is now my biggest company. We're in 16 countries. The whole purpose behind this one was because I felt like the supplement and health industry, especially in America, to be honest with you, was lying to people. And then the snack side of things was really geared towards that 7 to 10% of the population who thinks eating a protein bar is fun. That might have been me and my wife for a long time, but not my kids, not my brothers, not my parents. I felt like the health and wellness industry really forgot about the 90% of the population that desperately needs it. And then most of them, they lied to them about it, which is why my wife and I just goofing around in our kitchen over the first year with 600 really bad batches, finally invented a caramel corn using the highest grade protein in the world, WPI 90. And before this, the average protein snack in the United States takes a couple hours to digest. Ours, 6 minutes. And I made it for pro level athletes quality because I was an athlete, but also something that my kids would eat. Everybody got kids out there? Okay, my 7-year-old's the youngest, and probably because I'm older, but getting him to eat protein that doesn't come in the form of a chicken nugget or chocolate milk is like negotiating with a terrorist. So now he takes chocolate covered or nacho flavored OPP popcorn to school with him, and he thinks he's getting a treat, and what he's getting is the cleanest possible protein on the planet. And so I wanted something for them. My parents aren't going to eat protein bars or drink protein shakes. They're retired. They golf and drink, and I applaud that. They've earned it. But getting a hot dog at the end of a round of 18 after 12 margaritas is not exactly getting protein. And so I wanted something for the 90% of the population everyone else forgot about, and who doesn't want to eat a bar, who doesn't want to eat a chip that looks like a chip but tastes like kale. I wanted something that was great. And so because of that, like in other countries in like the Middle East, for instance, we've launched into most of the UAE. We're one of the few protein company snacks in the entire United States allowed in the UAE at all. It's because we meet health standards that we do not have here in the United States. Now, there's a lot of changes going on in the US, and I'm glad to see it. And not every protein snack is going to be perfect. None of them are meant to be perfect. They might be perfect for you and your neighbor, but that's the whole point why. And I'm really loving to see where it's going on, but you need to check the quality of it. What's the whey protein from? I just had a very famous person, I won't name her. They had a TV show. We'll leave it there. They're going to bring a protein popcorn out. So they did, using a cheaper oil and a much cheaper version of protein. And guess what happens? It goes bad in the bag within a couple of months. It also causes a ton of gastrointestinal discomfort. You want to make every woman in the United States mad? Give her gas. Trust me. I have 3 daughters and a wife. I know how this works. So now I have a great board of directors who understands my mission that I will not lower quality for profit. I won't do it. And that's why every protein snack is made with cheaper ingredients than mine, because they want to make more money. And I get it, but I made this for me and my kids. I'm not going to feed my kids or my parents a lower quality snack because I refuse to. So you look at Omaha Protein Popcorn, we're in about 10,000 gas stations in the United States. We're launching in Walmart in Canada at the end of next week. Walmart Costa Rica just got back. They said yes, so we'll be doing all of Central America Walmarts here over the next 3 months. And my goal is to be in 100,000 retailers in the United States by the end of this year. Just that way, something your kids can eat, your neighbors will eat, those people in your life that need to focus on their health, that they'll actually do it. Because 90% of the population will not choose health over comfort or taste. They won't. And so if we can find a way to do both, and that's been the mission for me, I love the athletes. Don't get me wrong. I was one. I'm a little jealous. I've aged. I can't quite do what I used to do. And my oldest son is reminding me that he can probably take me out, and he probably can. I'm not going to tell him that. He thinks he can, but I'm worried about my neighbors. I really am. And I want them to get something that's efficacious. They think they're taking these snacks at these big box stores that are helping them. And I look at it and I'm like, that will never digest into nitrates. That will never repair muscle tissue. And I know it. And I'm just sick of these large conglomerate companies in the United States lying to people. So I'm going to make one that's better. And once people try something that actually tastes good, that digests great, that actually works, they're less likely to accept that lower quality garbage from the big conglomerate. So that's been my big mission. And so look up Omaha Protein Popcorn, and we try to update the where to find us section on the website as often as we can. But we're doing the bags now in 4 languages in all these countries, and it's been nothing but fun.
It's amazing when you see what you've been doing. What's also been amazing in Deep Health Nation, you may not realize is when you walk into whatever store it happens to be, and if it's not Tim's store, go visit one of Tim's store. You see these labels, Tim, and I'm sure you're going to agree with this, and it looks wholesome, and wow, look, they got these fields and this green, and what they're really not showing is probably a lot of the ingredients are coming from China. They've been sitting there, they're rancid, probably toxic laced, but it says it's good for me, it's on the label. And so again, for the benefit of Deep Health Nation and one founder to another, to be able to produce this, manufacture this is not the most inexpensive in the world, as you're sharing. You're using the highest quality ingredients. How difficult was that, as opposed to you could have done the easy thing? The easy thing usually is not the right thing. And we're going to make it cheap. I'm just going to go to the local manufacturer there, and they're just going to give me the stuff that they already have in stock and from China and everything else. You didn't do that. So what was that like?
For me, it was fun because it was a unique position because I was already had a pretty big name for myself when I decided to do this popcorn company starting back in 2018, 2019. And a lot of people knew who I was. They'd see me speak on different stages. And so what happened was we figured out the formula. And this was a blessing in this aspect. I signed up for commercial popcorn making school because I'm like, nobody's going to make non-GMO corn. They're not going to use way hydrosylated WPI 90 protein. They're not going to do this kind of bag because I wanted the bag to be see-through. So I invented the bag. I actually have an international patent filed on the bag itself to give me extended shelf life without preservatives. So I'm like, nobody's going to do this. They're going to say, you're nuts. So I signed up for commercial popcorn making school, kind of had my wife convinced to let me turn one of our warehouses into a commercial popcorn making facility ish. She said she wasn't going to let it happen, but I'm very hard to say no to. And so the guy that owns this popcorn school calls me up. He goes, I heard you give a speech in Las Vegas 2 years ago. What are you doing popcorn? And I said, you'll have to sign the biggest NDA I've ever seen. He goes, okay, fine, I'll do it. So he does. And I tell him my plan. He goes, they're a fourth generation popcorn family. He goes, I haven't seen anything new in popcorn in about 50 years. He goes, yes, you're nuts. And yes, this will not be cheap to make, but I'd like to partner with this on you. I go, okay. I go, that's awesome. He goes, also, if you get the taste for popcorn manufacturing and seeing your history, you might taking over all the popcorn manufacturing in the United States. So I figured it's better to partner up than to compete. I go, I like your style, brother. So that was a time of being elevated in my field, got me some clearance. And now I'm a very loyal person. I've been with those guys now for 8 years. We're scaled massively and they get it. For me, it's okay. This has to be non-GMO. Like we're doing a co-brand with a massive company here coming out very shortly. And they say, hey, our seasoning isn't non-GMO. I said, make it non-GMO. They said genetically modified organisms are not allowed in most countries. And I'm not, and it shouldn't be allowed here either. The fact that it is insane, but this is my commitment to what I'm making and I'm not going to fall. Now, is my product perfect? No, but I made it the best I could. But so, yeah, it's been fun in that aspect. And thank God my board of directors understands where I'm coming from. I'm like, here's who I am. This is what I'm doing. They wanted to invest. Great. I've never brought in investors in my life until this. And it's great to have these brilliant minds. I was in 9 countries before I ran an ad. It's just not my space. And so I'm like, okay, let's raise some money for ads. Let's raise some money because these big billion-dollar companies are starting to buy it and they couldn't pay a bill on time to save their life. So let's get a little extra funds in the bank account for this. And it's been fun. They get it. We could make more money if you use concentrate. I know we could, but I won't. And we can make more if you use a vegan protein. Well, it's not a complete protein molecule. And so I can't do that. But what if we use this one? It's got lactose and lactose isn't natural. So I'm not going to do it. Because my sister-in-law, she got gestational diabetes when she was pregnant with my nephew. The hospital here gave her a bag of her white cheddar and said, this is one of our very few approved snacks you can eat when you're pregnant with gestational diabetes for protein. And that's the kind of commitment that I've made, that I can be that page in that storybook, and there isn't a price tag for that. Now, I think my thought is the bigger we get, the bigger economies of scale get, we'll make our money growing a high quality brand. Now, are we a major target for acquisition? Absolutely. Protein snack, functional food brands are the biggest acquisition targets in the world, have been for quite a while. But the thing is, if I build the name big enough based on the quality of how we make it, when we eventually do get acquired, we'll have enough data for them to say, hey, don't cheapen this up. The data's here. We kicked everyone's tail because we made the best. And that way it can be, because, we're like, why would you be acquired? I'm like, can you imagine a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi or a Hershey's, and their distribution capabilities will far exceed anything I can do. And my biggest thing is I want this in everyone's hands in the world because I believe in it.
Absolutely amazing. And Deep Old Nation, yes, it's about the popcorn, but it's not about the popcorn because Tim was jumping off the page here. And it's a wonderful lesson. It's a terrific strategy for everyone in Deep Old Nation. You know what you want, and you're not making sacrifices because you're being told this is just how it's done. This is the way it's always been done. You're never going to succeed. Hey, this is my vision. I'm sticking to it. And if you're not going to be the one to help me do this, I'll go around, over, above, through, whatever I have to do to get this done. And you found a way to do it. And it's that discipline. That's a common thread that you've been sharing with us throughout your life. You've got something in your head. It's very high standards. It's not settling for second best. It's the best no matter what you do. And whether it's popcorn right now, and God bless you for this and bringing something healthy out there for us, to whatever it's going to be next, it's these very high standards. You're not settling for second best. And, as I'm talking about this, as I look back to history, because if you want to see what's coming down the road, look back the not
Yeah.
too far past. And once upon a time in our country, we were also like that of, hey, nothing but the best for us. We're going to have the biggest, the grandest, the best kind of life and the moral compass and all the other things that go along with that. And along the way, sadly, this is not a political podcast, so I'm not going to go there. That's been shaken. But to hear you speak now as a founder and as a visionary, it's absolutely incredible. Let me ask you this, very high level, from a health perspective, what's the bill of goods that we've been sold? Mr. and Ms. America, here you go. This is how it is on the health side, but it really isn't. What do you see very high level wise?
High level wise, I've watched this over the last 25 years. And like I said, it's not a political thing, but lobbying in the Congress has allowed companies to get away with basically lying to consumers on health products left and right, and have done for a long time. From the milk industry to the corn industry to the lobbying, allowing certain pesticides and herbicides on food that not even having to disclose it, putting in sweeteners by the Dairy Association that they don't have to disclose to consumers. Top to bottom, it's really a government lobbying issue. It has been for a long time. The things that are allowed now never would have been allowed 45, 50 years ago. And we've only slid down this path of perpetual sickness left and right. And so I always tell my kids, I'm like, if the government tells you okay, look 3 times, because they're probably not. And that's a sad fact. It's also with our health systems as well. 2 of my brothers are doctors. My grandfather was a physician of the year for the state of Nebraska several times. And I was pretty mad, but I didn't get the family gift. I do not like blood. Don't let the tattoos fool you. I love the look, not the process. Just did not get that gift. And it's just the entire system as a whole is just set up to make money. And it's nothing wrong with making money. Don't get me wrong. But I think that the long-term incentive for financial needs to be, how long are people healthy for? What is the happiness index? What is the health index? How are we scoring this system? And I go down this rabbit hole for hours, so I won't go too far. The things that like we just see in food, like when you travel abroad as much as I do, you see how much junk we put in our food. If you've ever gone to Costa Rica, eat pineapple there. Just do it once. Because guess what? You'll never want to eat pineapple in the States again. It's like, this is how it's supposed to taste. Wow. You know what I mean? And it's, for me, that's kind of the fun stuff. Now, and the thing is, too, when it comes to business in the same aspect is, I always tell this, don't try to be everybody's everything. You can't please everybody. Be somebody's something. Stick to your guns, stick to your niche, and keep your quality and say, like, I can't please every Tom, Dick, and Harry. I can't please every Karen and Kevin on the planet. I'm a customer. This is what I would want. I'm going to look for people like this. And I'm going to try to please that niche and that demographic as best as I can. And when it comes to health, and the problem is it's social media. So many people put out such false information, and people sit in their echo chambers and they just believe whatever they're told. And then they also don't know where to find the correct information either. I've got my own personal thoughts on solutions that do get political. Look at health and wellness and money as an investment, right? And you're a big conglomerate and you're a multi-billion-dollar company, and you want to make sure that you can make your products as cheap, as long as possible to make the most amount of money. What's the best way to make sure that you don't have any issues? Go ahead and buy yourself a congressman, because that's what they do. And so, I mean, my solution, and this is political, is term limits immediately. Make that too expensive of a proposition to ever happen. That's been the solution for years. But I've seen it. I've seen it 100. I worked in Washington, so I know. And that's a reason why I get asked all the time, will you ever run for office? That's a no. My one grandfather said that if I reached a certain level, I owe it to society to be a decent man with good morals and values and go do it. But my kids didn't sign up for that. And you see how miserable and nasty it is. When it comes to health and wellness, it's more or less that we saw it of the very famous protein bar this last week got busted on their label. Had 400% more fat than what the label claimed. That just absolutely infuriates me to the nth degree, because it makes a bad name for everybody in our industry. So for me, what we do, and this is what I control, is certificate authenticities. Long-term shelf life testing. We do a validity test with every single batch. Everything we make is made in America. Every ingredient we source, we have a chain of custody on literally everything, because I have so many pro athletes that buy it. We're talking multi-million-dollar contracts. I need to know what's in it. 2, my daughter was pregnant with my grandson and she's eating our popcorn. I want to know, because that's my grandchild. I take it. So trust me, if I'm letting your family eat it, it's because I'm letting my family eat it. I think that level of responsibility needs to be taken more seriously in business, especially in the health and wellness field.
It's great to see. And again, Deep Health Nation, it really is buyer beware. Do your homework. Don't just take it at face value. And to your point, Tim, there's all kinds of marketing and yeah, look at this, look at that. And it's deception. So do the deep dive. I love how you have that ownership all the way through step by step and you're doing the testing. It's an unfair question. I'm going to ask it though. If someone in Deep Health Nation, from a health perspective, knowing all that you know, if they could do one thing that could take their health to the next level, a low-hanging fruit, pun intended, what could they do that, yeah, you know what, Deep Health Nation, I know you're busy, you're a founder, I know time is not your own right now, but if you did this one thing here, it's likely going to have a terrific effect. You'll begin to feel it or feel better. Anything that comes to mind?
Immediately, fasting. Fasting is the healthiest, most long-term studied thing that has happened in human history. Now, it doesn't mean you have to fast every day. I do. Even doing a couple-day fast, even the water fast. The Boston Med's done research on this. The University of San Diego's done studies on this. Cancer survives on sugar. If you did a 7-day water fast once a year, you reduce all cancer rates by 75%. I mean, it is. And so there's a lot of health with it. I fast every day for 22 hours. I only eat between 7 and 9 p.m. at night, traditionally speaking. Inflammation and stress, especially for us founders, let's be real, we're stressed human beings. I mean, even if we had $1 billion, we'd probably stress over which bank it's in and how much interest we're getting. That's just how we are. We're high-strung, high cortisol people. And people are like, oh, you need to sleep more. I'm like, I'd like to, but I can't shut my brain off. And so for me, the fasting has been very healthy for me because my schedule is nuts. I don't know when I'm going to get to eat. I did deep dive, especially for men. Fasting especially is just such a wonderful thing. Growth hormone, testosterone increased, a reduction of estradiol effects. It's incredibly healthy. Now, if you don't want to fast all the time, say, Tim, I love breakfast. My spouse cooks the best pancakes, bro. I'm like, okay, I get it. Okay. Then once or twice a year, do a couple-day fast. One, mentally challenges you. You're not like only drinking water. That you can drink bone broth. I chose to do amino acid spiking where I just took a calorie less flavored amino acid and I just drink it throughout the day. So my muscles, I've done tests on myself. I've done 7 days in a row. I didn't even lose 1/10 of 1 pound of muscle mass at all because I have an AI scale on my stores that I test it with because I wanted to see what it did to me. And the funny thing was my white blood cell count, and the reason I did it was because my white blood cell count was very low. I got a little scared from the doctor and I was like, it was precancerous and I got a little scared. And so I was like, okay, let me research that. Like it's white blood cell, it's cortisol and inflammation, which causes all of our issues. Let me do this fast. 7 days, my white blood cell count went up 500%. No cancer. And ever since then, like joints feel better. I feel better. I got more spring in my step. I told my kids I still think I can dunk a basketball, but I'm not going to test it because I think I could, but I think I might sprain something coming down because age has hit me. But fasting is one of the healthiest. And for those who are spiritual, there's a lot, if you look back in a lot of different cultures, actually, from Buddhism to the monks, and you've got it in Judaism, you got it in Christianity, that there's a reason why it's in all of these different religions is that it really get this serenity from fasting that you rarely get from anything else. And so for me, it's a common daily practice for me. And my wife tried it a few times, but she's got a way better metabolism than I do. So my metabolism gave up on me when all the color in my hair left, but not for her. But I just find that fasting is the quickest, easiest way to reduce inflammation, reduce cortisol, and improve your health. And give it a shot for a couple of days and see what happens. If you can overcome mentally that food noise, come on, guys, we're all founders, right? We've overcome adversity in so many ways. You can overcome that need to go eat snacky cakes. Now, trust me, it's in my head. I love horrible food. I'm first one to admit it. I love horrible food. That's why I have to fast. But it has worked really well for me and my schedule and traveling. And it's the greatest health thing that I think I can give anybody is just give it a go. You'll like it. Trust me.
In Deep Health Nation, a few things. Firstly, this is Tim and myself. We are at a fireside chat and we're just sharing data points of what works for us. Please get medical advice before you do anything. Yes. And also Deep Health Nation, Tim does a 22-hour fast. For you, perhaps it's a 16-hour fast or a 12-hour fast. Tim, I couldn't agree more. I've been fasting since 2013. And Deep Health Nation, I got to tell you, if you are grazing all day, you're not doing yourself any favors. The body was never meant for that. And to your point, Tim, maybe your significant other, your wife, your husband makes an incredible breakfast. Incredible. Have the breakfast. Why not have an earlier dinner? And nothing on into the evening. So you're getting those hours in, you will feel better. You'll have a better health, a better business. we can go on and on with that
Oh
side
yeah,
of things.
all day on that. Absolutely.
But fasting really is something to consider. So I absolutely love that. About to go into wrap up mode, but we're not wrapping up just yet. But I do want to ask this one question. It's actually a question with a question. There are so many questions I haven't yet asked him, sadly. Is there one important question that you and I haven't covered that you want to get out there before I ask my favorite question and begin to wrap things up?
I get asked this a lot, and I think it's really got my brain spinning lately. They go, what happens when you sell the popcorn company and you get that large amount of money? Are you going to go do this? Has happened recently. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I know it's going to happen sooner than later, but I guess I haven't mentally spent the money. So I said, then somebody goes, will you retire? No, I love what I do. I do. And I love speaking more than anything. So that's why I like doing these podcasts. I speak at dozens of high schools a year and universities. And for me, like if the rest of my career is just doing that and getting to help people and get that page in the storybook, man, what an awesome life that is. You know what I mean? And I encourage everyone on here. A lot of people are fearful of public speaking. I get it. I'm not. My wife hates it. She's learning to do it because I bring her on stage, and I promised my kids I wouldn't embarrass them on stage anymore. But go to your local high school and volunteer once a year. Do it. Go speak to the class. Remember what you needed when you were 17 and 18 years old. Maybe you needed that positive voice in college at 20. Somebody tell you that you weren't nuts. Somebody you write ideally with. Go volunteer because you get to be what you needed at that point in time. What an amazing responsibility and honor that is. And I'm telling you right now, when you see that kid's those eyes light up, you remember why you started. And then you get that energy back being like, you know what? Because we can complain like me. I was just complaining about taxes, right? What an awesome position to be in. I don't like paying them, don't get me wrong. But the fact that I make that kind of money, this is the problem that I have when only 25 years ago, I was trying to figure out how many more ketchup packets I could steal to eat. So how foolish of me to sit here and complain. You know what I mean? And so I think for me, that's the biggest thing is that's where the career goes. That's been the biggest question. And I've had to really roll that around lately because I don't feel like I'm old. My kids tell me I'm old. But I'm like, okay, what does the next 20 years look like? Do I want to do what my parents do? Nothing wrong with that. They were employees at companies for years. And so they've got the whole structured retirement 401k thing going on and good for them. I'm a lot riskier. But what does it look like? And I'm like, retirement really isn't a thing for me. I just a transition into a different job. Yeah.
Some terrific advice there and something to think about. And what I love about that is, hey, we're giving back to the community. It's so many stories that I've heard, Tim, of a young child at the time. It was a passing comment from a successful person that forever changed the trajectory. So Deep Health Nation, you never know what you're going to do or who you're going to impact. Just go ahead and do it. I don't know about you, Tim, but for myself, I find when I give of myself, I feel kind of bad because I'm getting more back than the receiver in a good way.
Exactly.
Just how it works is what we're really meant to do. So that said, sadly, and I do mean it sadly, we are going to go into wrap-up mode. It's a tradition here in the Deep Health Podcast. It's my privilege and honor where I get to ask the same question to every guest. It's a really fun question. Let me set this up for you. When you think of the movie Back to the Future, you have that magical DeLorean car that will take you to any point in time. So, Tim, this is the fun part. You look outside your windows. Tomorrow morning, not only is the DeLorean car curbside, the door is open and it's waiting for you to hop on in, which you do. You're now going to go to any point in your life, Tim, as a young child, a teenager, whatever point in time it will be. What are you going to tell your younger self in terms of life lessons or life wisdom? Or, hey, Tim, do this, but don't do that. What would you tell yourself? What would it sound like?
That's a tough question. Oh, there's so many points I want to go back and tell myself, don't do that, do this. But for me, I don't know if I'd tell myself anything. As much as it sucked during the struggles, and man, they were bad. If I hadn't experienced those, I don't know if I would have developed the fortitude that I needed to do what I do now and to be that broke. Playing bank account Jenga 6 ways to Sunday is our fun little saying is, we'll use this card, but that one's going late. And if anything, I think I would go back to younger me, pre-junior, like junior high me, when I was getting picked on terribly bad. I was 5'5", 195 pounds, brother. I was as round as I was tall. Being like, hey, one, the Vanilla Ice haircut, bro, don't do it. Just don't do it. You don't need the white streak and the lines. Just don't do it. It's not as cool as you think it is. And two, relax, buddy. You're going to grow. It's okay. And the amount of times I went home from school crying my eyes out when I was that kid. And I'm glad I never did anything stupid and hurt myself, which obviously it was terrible. If anything, I would go back to that kid and be like, you're going to do some crazy things. You own it, love it, and you'll be fine. The rest of it, I wouldn't trade all the struggles for anything in the world because I don't think I'd be here and appreciate what's in front of me if I hadn't gone through them.
It's interesting because that is the most common answer. Hey, Jeffrey, I don't want to change anything because the darkest days in my life that I thought it was the end of me, that was it. Looking back now, wow, that catapulted me to where I am today. And if that wasn't the case, I wouldn't be where I am. So I'm just going to leave it. But at the same time, I love how you're saying, hey, it's all going to be okay. And wow, you're going to do some crazy stuff. Just own it. It's going to be okay. So some terrific advice there. And someone in Deep Wealth Nation, they have a question for you. They want to get some insights or some advice or some thoughts. Where would be the best place to reach you or the team?
Go to timrexius.com. That's TIMREXIUS.com. That leads to all the companies we own, all the speaking engagements, and the email goes directly to my assistants. Honestly, everyone that comes in, we do it as fast as we can, so bear with me, but we try to get to all of them and not a chat GPT response either. I'll deep dive and dive into it. And honest, it's an honor and a privilege. One, I'm humbled when people ask for help because they think that much of us. That's awesome. And it really is a humbling experience. And two, if I can help, I'll help. God knows we've all sat there before being like, God, I'm just looking for that answer. I need that answer. And I mean, if I can give that answer, please ask. Lord knows I would not be here without the help of so many other people. I am not here on my own accord. That is for sure. So if I can help you, it's my honor and duty to do so. Please drop us an email, drop us a DM. If they reply back with X's and O's and hugs and stuff, it's not me. It's one of the girls. I remind my daughters who also help with my social media that, hey, remember, they think it's me. So just so you know that my assistants do see these messages, but I do help answer everything. So please message us.
In Deep Wealth Nation, take Tim up on his offer. He really does mean it. He is all about giving back, making a difference, and showing up. So take him up on that. Ask the question. You'll come out a whole lot better. All that said, Tim, congratulations. It's official. This is a wrap. And as we love to say here at Deep Wealth, may you continue to thrive and prosper while you remain healthy and safe. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Thank you so much for having me. Honored. God bless you, my friend.
So there you have it, Deep Wealth Nation. What did you think? So with all that said, and as we wrap it up, I have another question for you. Actually, it's more of a personal favor. Did you find this episode helpful? Have you found other episodes of the Deep Wealth Podcast empowering and a game changer for your journey? And if you said yes, and I really hope you did, I have a small but really meaningful way that you can actually help us out and keep these episodes coming to you. Are you ready for it? The dramatic pause. I'll just wait a moment. Drum roll, please. Subscribe. Please subscribe to the Deep Wealth Podcast on your favorite podcast channel. When you subscribe to the Deep Wealth Podcast, you're saving yourself time. Every episode automatically comes to you. And I want you to know that we meticulously craft every one of our episodes to have impactful strategies, stories, expert insights that are designed to help you grow your profits, increase the value of your business, and yes, even optimize your post-exit life and your life right now, whatever you want that to look like. And every time you subscribe and a fellow entrepreneur subscribe, it's a testament to how together, yes, we are changing the social fabric of society. One business owner at a time, one liquidity event at a time. So don't let the momentum stop here. Subscribe now on your favorite podcast channel. You'll never miss an episode. You'll be the first to hear from the top industry leaders, the innovators, the disruptors that are really changing and shaping the business world. And maybe you're commuting, maybe you're at the gym, maybe you're taking a well-deserved break that we spoke all about on this episode. The Deep Wealth Podcast, it's your reliable source for the next big idea that could literally revolutionize your business. So once again, please hit that subscribe button, stay connected, inspired, and ahead of the curve. And again, your next big breakthrough moment, it might just be one episode away. Maybe it was even this episode. So all that said, thank you so much for listening. And remember, your wealth isn't just about the money in the bank. It's about the depth of your journey and the impact that you're creating. So let's continue this journey together. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for listening to this episode. And as we love to say here at Deep Wealth, may you continue to thrive and prosper while you remain healthy and safe. Thank you so much. God bless.